a disease that respects no borders, once killing or paralyzing 500,000 people a year. After a long, hard battle, it's been eradicated in all but 3 countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. And if Africa is ever to be free of this cruel ancient disease, it must be vanquished in Nigeria. And so far, this year, there hasn't been a single case. In 2014, 5 of Nigeria's last 6 polio cases were in Kano. To eliminate polio in Nigeria, every child here had to be reached and vaccinated.
It's very, very dangerous to miss a single child. Once we allow one child to get infected with polio, and that child inwardly puts 200 additional children at risk of having polio, and the chain continues.
So thousands of Nigerians came together for this fight against polio, facing immense odds. They came together because of children like Umar.
Umar, lokacin da wannan matsalar ta same shi ya mata shi yana tafiyarsa, yana da wata 20. Mun je can gidan kakannin shi, kuma tashi bai ya kuka na ce taso ya kasa tashi. To daga nan gaba ɗaya aka barin shi ɗaya ya mutu ya daina aiki.
For much of the 20th century, polio was one of the world's most feared diseases. Then, in the 1950s, vaccines began to make polio history throughout much of the developed world. But in 1988, it was still claiming victims in 125 countries, 350,000 a year, crippling child after child. That year, the Global Polio Eradication Initiative began. The World Health Organization, Rotary International, CDC, UNICEF, and other partners took aim at eliminating the disease. It became the largest collective public health effort in history, 20 million volunteers, and more than 2.5 billion children immunized. The progress was swift and stunning. By the early 2000s, Africa was on the verge of eradicating polio. Then, a setback.
There was these religious clerics who tried to poison the mind of the community. So that's why generally people become scared.
There was hate messages all over the place against polio. Some people said, okay, if you allow your child to take polio vaccine, he will develop HIV.
Kano suspended polio immunization amid a swirl of rumors, and the disease hit back with a vengeance, sickening thousands of children. A huge effort went into winning back hearts and minds. Religious leaders reached out, telling people vaccination was safe, and community leaders reached out. Their efforts helped turn the tide. Immunization restarted, led by an army of women, volunteer vaccinator teams at the front lines, and Nigeria once again stood on the verge of eradicating polio. They knock on every door, vaccinate every child, marking pinkies and house walls, noting who is protected and who isn't. Often, their motivations are very personal. Aisha Uma became a volunteer after her own daughter, Mariam, contracted the disease. There are so many challenges, reaching every child in even the most remote villages, overcoming a brutal Boko Haram insurgency, and the rainy season, just begun, which can fuel the spread of the disease.
Kuma wasu ƙanana suna fitowa gefe, kaga yanzu kamar nan, idan aka yi bayan gida, aka yi ruwa zai iya korowa. Yawan cututtukan nan da damuna wannan bayan gida da yake koro mana.
Isa, the last child in Nigeria to get wild polio, lives in a compound crisscrossed with sewage canals where 40 small children live and play. Perhaps the most difficult challenge of all? The parents who are still reluctant to let their children be immunized. Often it takes a talk from a polio survivor like Umar's father Aminu. Aminu owns a workshop where polio survivors earn a living, making tricycles that give freedom and autonomy to Kano's disabled. But his most critical work is accompanying the polio teams on each and every polio immunization drive, winning hearts and changing minds.
Wacce za mu gaya maka muna zaton za mu ja ra'ayinka shine muka zo kofar gidanka muka ce ba da ɗanka ya allurar rigakafi kace ba zai ba sai mu ce to kana son ɗanka ya zama kamar mu in ka ce to mun tabbata kai baka san hakkin yara ba amma in ka ba da yaranka aka masa allurar to ka san hakkin yaro.
On July 24th, 2015, Nigeria marked the first year in its history without a single case of wild polio. A few weeks later, Africa marked the same with the anniversary of the last case in an isolated Horn of Africa outbreak. These are milestones, not endpoints. 2 more years must pass for Nigeria and Africa to be certified polio-free. To reach this goal, the campaign will continue relentlessly and without pause to immunize every single child.